Is StamPlar the worst Stam build out there right now? And honestly, I thought it was. It wasn't until I put this build together that I was totally wrong. StamPlar is alive and better than ever. Don't believe me? Just watch the montage. Alright, cool beans. Hope you guys did enjoy that small montage. I'm Hex. You can see the full power of StamPlar. It is alive and better than ever. If you too want to play StamPlar and make people feel the devastating wrath of the sunlight, then stick to the end of the video and I'll show you exactly how I did it. But before we get started, if you guys can hit that subscribe and like button, really does help out a lot and I greatly do appreciate it. Also leave a comment what you guys want to see next. But without further ado, let's biting jabs our way into the build. Alright, first set we run is Ice Staff for Wretched Vitality. Come on, is this any surprise? This thing is like the best sustain set in the entire game. Why is that? Because it's back barrable. Being able to get 390 magic and stamina recovery from your back bar for both bars. And on this build we can proc both of them with one skill. Next set we run is Battlelurks. I mean, obviously Battlelurks is probably the best monster set for open world damage. Up to 500 weapon or spell damage and over 11k pen at 500 ultimate. So yeah, so what makes Battlelurks so good is that when you drop your ulti, that's usually when you're going for your burst. So that's what I love about Battlelurks. Make sure your burst can go hard and absolutely delete somebody. And it makes your heals really strong too, because of all that spell damage you get. So we do run One Piece training because we do run a mythic. Why training? Gives us a lot of max health for One Piece. And like I said earlier, what's our mythic? I mean, hello? Market and Ring of Majesty? Is any surprise at this point? Oh, please, Oz, can I wear two of these at one point? And for the main set that I do run on my front bar, if you watch the Sam Crow build, then you're pretty familiar to this. Titanborn. Oh my Regine, do I love Titanborn. This is like, I just have to say it. Like, when I first saw this set announced, I was like, this is the set I need to run. For Stam, I just love Titanborn because of the bait potential. Getting up to 110 weapon and spell damage and almost 1240 physical and spell pen. That's crazy. Which doubles if you're below 75% health and quadruples if you're below 50% health. So yeah, you can get up to 450 base weapon and spell damage and almost 5k pen below 50% health. So the way we run it, for the front bar, we do have a double dagger of Titanborn. So on this one, you could run maces, double mace, or a combination of mace and dagger. I really like double dagger because Templars do have 10% more damage from crits. So for the main hand, I do have an Absorb Stam enchant, Crim Proc Minor Breach, also good for sustain. On the offhand, I do have a Berserker enchant. The traits are Nirnhone and Sharpen. For this build, please make the main hand Nirnhone. Yes, you have to make the main hand Nirnhone. It makes a difference. For the back bar, we do run an Ice Staff of Wretched Vitality with an Onslaught enchant. Basically gives us, does magic damage and all 3 sustain. And for the trait, I do run Defending. I absolutely love Defending. Just being tanky on that back bar, always really nice. So for the body, we do run the typical 3-3-1, 3 heavy, 3 light, 1 medium. For my heavy, I do run a heavy head and shoulders of Battlelurks. For my chest, I do run a chest of Wretched Vitality, heavy. For my 1 light, I do run a sash of Wretched Vitality. And for my 3 medium, I do run a medium, hands, Wretched Vitality, and legs and feet of Titanborn. I really do love it. Obviously, if you want to go some well fitted or some reinforced on your heavies, go ahead. That's what I like about builds. For the enchants, if you can trash stat all the pieces, that'd be ideal. If not, trash stat all the big pieces. What I mean by that is head, chest, and legs. And for the jewelry, we do run a Titanborn neck, Ring of the Trading, and a Market Ring of Majesty because it only comes in a ring, duh. So for the traits, we do run all infused, all spell damage. Yes, all infused, all spell damage. For this build, please run spell damage. The reason is because Templars do get 10% more spell damage. So that's the reason we want spell damage. So for the food, we do run Orzhovka's Smoke Barrage. I mean, is there anything to say? It gives us a lot of health and recoup of everything. Obviously, if you can't afford this, You could just run Jewels of Misrule, the purple version, perfectly fine. The only thing you notice is about 400 less health, but that's very minuscule. And for the pots, we do run 2 pots. If you are really good with your mag sustain, and the best pots to run would probably be the immoved weapon crit and stamp pots. These pots are really amazing, but honestly I felt like my sustain was kind of bad, so I just ran typical good old tri pots. These things were a lifesaver. Alright, but enough of that. Let's go over the skills now. First skill we do run is Extended Ritual. This is what makes a Templar a Templar. Being able to get a Purify that gets a hot on the ground. I mean, hello. You might be saying, why is it on the front bar? Trust me, that back bar is clogged with some really juicy skills, so we need to have it on the front bar. So for the next skill, I would say this is my flex spot. So I do run Power of the Light. If you don't want to run Power of the Light, you could run Camo Hunter. If you are popping tripods like I was, probably Camo Hunter, honestly, looking back, was probably the best bet that I wasn't running. So either one is fine. Honestly, thinking about it, Camo Hunter is probably just better, to be honest. Next skill we do run is Radiant Glory. I mean, this skill is kind of bonkers. This is the pug's worst nightmare, Radiant Glory. Because when you see someone, they try to roll dodge, but you can't roll dodge this execute, and it just chunks you. And if that wasn't enough, heals you for almost a quarter of the damage done. Next we do run Binding Javelin. I really love this skill. This is our stun from range that can actually, stun them for a long time. If they don't have the stand to break this, 4-second stun. Yeah, hope there's a keep nearby for them to res that, because they're not going to survive that combo after that if they don't break the CC. Next we do run Biting Jabs. This is basically just our spammable, and this is how we get our major brutality and sorcery. One thing, Zos, if you're watching this, please make this 20 seconds. This thing needs to go to 20 seconds. Like when I'm on my back bar, this is not enough. This thing always falls off of my back bar. Next we do run Dawnbreaker. Obviously this is our big hitting ultimate, and Divines Forbid if they're a vampire and we crit this on them, yeah, they're gonna get absolutely shredded. For the back bar we do have Racing Against Time. This is our snare muted that just happens to grab Major Expedition and Minor Force. And when we pop the skill, it procs our full Wretched Vitality. Next we have Restore and Focus. This is our armor skill that gives us Stam Sustain and a hot if we stand in the ring, because why not give 3 things for 1 skill. Next we have Resolve and Vigor. This is our burst hot that heals us a lot over 5 seconds and grants us minor resolve for 20 seconds. Next we have Elemental Stability. This skill is nuts. Even with the nerf coming next patch, this skill is still gonna be nuts, because you put Major Breach, which is almost 6k pen. The main thing is you put all those status effects, and when we put Chilled on a target with this, with an Ice Staff equipped, which we do have the Ice Staff for Wretched Vitality, we put Minor Brittle on the target, making them take 10% more crit damage. Next we have Honor the Dead. Please run this morph, Honor the Dead. If you try to run the other morph, you will mag out. Please run this one. This morph refunds you a portion of the cost when you're below 75% health. And trust me, that sustain is really, really strong. And lastly, Temporal Guard, just for the passive. Minor protection while slotted. Alright, but enough of that. Let's go over the stat sheets. Alright, so for our unbuffed stat sheets, this is what we got. Well, let's just check with the buffed up real quick. Spell damage is at 6265. Look at our recov. Almost 2k of mag and stam recov. And our crit's at 38%. Hello? Alright, but everybody wants to see the fully proc stats with Balor's Entitlement. Our spell damage is at 6863, and our physical and spell pain is at 17.4. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Put minor and major breach on top of that. Let's just see how tanky we are on our back bar. Our back bar over 30k physical and spell resist, and crit resist at 2700. Yeah, this build is kind of nasty. Attributes, we do have 22 points in the health and 42 points in the stamina. For my Mundus, I am running the Thief. Please run the Thief. This build honestly is very strong because we are more crit orientated, because honestly, trust me, crits shred pugs in PvP. We're also a Templar, so we have 10% more damage done with crits. So for Vampire, be a stage 3. Please be stage 3. I know it says stage 1. I completely forgot. I was doing my writs, and yeah. So be a stage 3 Vampire, please. So for my race, I am an Imperial. This honestly is the best race for open world stam builds. 2k health, 2k stam, and 6% cost reduction to all your abilities. That includes ultimates. Yeah, kind of crazy. So the other strong ones would probably be Orc. Wood Elf could be good. And Khajiit, oh, Khajiit would be nasty with the build since we do run double daggers. All right, but enough of that. Let's go over the CP now. All right, so for the blue CP, we do run Focus Mending, increases our single target heals. So we do run Master at Arms, increases damage done with direct damage attacks. Ironclad reduces damage taken from direct damage attacks. And the last one is a flex one. You could go either one. So you can go Resilience for more crit resist. You could go Duelist Rebuff if you don't really like those pesky Nightblades. Or if you're saying, no, I want damage, then run Fighting Finesse. Fighting Finesse would give you so much damage. And if you're running Camo Hunter, then yeah, honestly, probably should put Fighting Finesse. For the red CP, we do run Celerity, increases movement speed by 10%. Honestly, the best CP in the entire game. Next, we do run Survival Instincts. When we're affected with a status effect, reduces the core combat skill cost by up to 25%. Relentlessness. When we're stunned, we get major protection for 3 seconds. Hello? That's exactly when you want major protection. And Pain's Refuge. The more negative effects active on us, the tankier we become. And for the green CP, doesn't ever really matter. Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, Gifted Rider, and Seed's Blessing. Alright, but enough of that. Let's go over the combo rotation. So let's go over the combo real quick. So probably the easiest combo would be with Camo Hunter. All you're really gonna do for this build is you just stun them occasionally when they're off CC immunity, and you just jab them. It's pretty much all you do, is just jab them. When you see them drop below like a certain threshold, like when you see them at 50% health, you drop the Dawnbreaker and then you execute them, and honestly, it's just gonna chunk them so hard. Now let's say no Dawnbreaker, no problem. Let's just say you're jabbing them away and you see them drop to 50% health, hit them with a Javelin into an execute, and honestly, you should probably be able to melt them with that. So let's say you want to run Power of the Light because you absolutely love Power of the Light. Honestly, Power of the Light makes StamPlar a little bit more fun. So basically, you're going to be going around your Power of the Light. Power of the Light lasts for 6 seconds. Jab, jab, jab. Hits 1 second. 0. Dawnbreaker, execute. Boom. Won't survive that. Hope you did enjoy that build video. Honestly, it was fun bringing out the StamPlar, and hopefully this build will honestly make you want to play StamPlar or help you with your StamPlar. Because honestly, I mean, could you even call it a StamPlar? I mean, what identifies a class as a stam now? Is it just having more max stam? Does that make you a StamPlar? And if I had more max mag, does that make me a magplar? Like, it's just so crazy, it's so confusing. But honestly, it's fun being able to use mag skills on a stam tune for damage. Hope you guys do enjoy the rest of the clips, because honestly, this Templar was kind of crazy. It was kind of cracked, to be honest. Subscribe for more, but most importantly, stay zerging.